Round 1. Fight!
Of course Sikhs should try to become MPs. If you can become a member of parliament, a representative of the people, then it gives you a voice in the highest seat of power, in the central place from where the country is run, from where the government is. If Sikhs try and do that, not only would it be good from an awareness point of view, but from the point of view of actually Sikhs being the one who give voice to the way that people want things to be run.
As much as you're much our own point, your idea is flawed, because there's only a finite amount of spaces in the members of parliament, and there's only so much they can do. They can be overruled by the Queen, and they are also highly convinced by the conglomerates. This makes no sense for the Sikhs to be in that position because their power of influence is very limited.
Okay, so MPs might be limited in the scope of the influence that they have, but you have to remember they're representing the people. It's the people's ideas that they're giving voice to. They're doing what all of the people want to see happen, and that's got to be a good thing. So why wouldn't Sikhs want to be the ones vocalizing people's ideas? And yeah, you're right, there's only a finite amount of seats available, but why can't Sikhs take all of them? There's nothing wrong with that.
A simple argument for that would be that they don't have complete autonomy. They can be overruled, and in line and in parallel with the Miri-Piri concept, there is nothing but complete autonomy. There's only a way to get there. So if there was a way that people were going to overthrow the government to enact the Sikh ideologies, then they'll be able to do something. Otherwise it makes no sense.
Okay, so while I can kind of see some of your argument, at what point in history did that actually change? The Queen or the monarch of this country in the United Kingdom has always been able to overrule everything. Just like in federal countries, the president can engage president's rule and create an emergency, and they can stop parliamentarians doing what they want to do. But that still shouldn't stop Sikhs from wanting to be the voice at that point, because they have no influence. I lose the point.
Round 2. Fight!
So Harvey, your argument was that it would be influenced by the people and that you can generally get their point across. But as I explained to you, the members of parliament, their whole decision is based upon the conglomerates giving their money and then funding the organizations. So wouldn't it be more valuable for Sikhs to get into money?
No, it wouldn't be more valuable for Sikhs to get into money. I can understand your point is very valid. Yeah, members of parliament all over the world far too often vote in favour of what big businesses and people who fund them are doing. Here in the United Kingdom, where necessarily funding isn't always key, a big problem is that the old boys network operates. So people who went to university or colleges or private schools, mostly with MPs, end up getting favours done on a big scale nationally. So yeah, I can see that that's where the problem kind of lies. But the solution to that isn't that Sikhs now suddenly change 500 years worth of history and start chasing money.
I agree with that, but then going into members of parliament makes no sense either. From a history of 500 years of history where we could actually claim an autonomous state, instead we are working within, you're saying that we should all work in the members of parliament to work within a system that we don't agree with. And for all Sikhs to be doing that, it makes no sense, and it's just a flawed argument, Harvey. You must see this.
But there's more than just MP spaces. There's spaces for people to become civil servants. There's spaces for people to join think tanks. There's spaces for people to become local councillors. There's spaces for people to become members of staff in parliament. And yeah, sure, while not every Sikh is going to make it, if they're all trying, we're going to get a huge number of them there, which is a great thing as far as I can see. You will then be able to get in and change the system from the ground up. And that's what we're going to do, change the system to make it really reflective of the people's voice.
I agree with you.
Round 3. Fight!
Becoming a parliamentarian really is key to making changes in the way that we all live, whichever country it is, in changing the way that governments rule over us. And so that's why I'm still making the point that Sikhs all need to be making that their goal.
Imagine if Sikhs had taken that position 500 years ago, where Guru Nanak wouldn't have come outside of the governmental system and made a separate identity where people are sovereign in themselves, instead of giving someone else sovereignty and then working to get them to change their decision. It makes no sense in our ideology, and it doesn't make sense in this situation.
Well, okay, so Sikhs have always been fighting for sovereignty, but why can't they now do it in a different territory, in a different time period, within the system, and become sovereign within the system?
Because the base foundation of a Sikh ideology is first you become independent and sovereign. First you claim autonomy on yourself and say, I want to do this, I want to do it this way, how do I make this happen? You don't ask someone to give you that because you've lost your goal in the first place. You can never be who you really want to be if you're first asking someone to tell you how to be.
But I'm not asking anyone for anything. I am sovereign, I'm strategic, I'm a bastion of the Miri-Piri concept of the Guru. Thereby, I have looked at the table that exists in front of me, and I've worked out that this is my strategy to get the best fruit from the table. In order for me to do that, I'm going to become a think tank member, I'm going to become a local councillor, I'm going to lead up to becoming a member of parliament, and then change the system from within and make all people sovereign, not just Sikhs feel that way. And that I'm going to do through this political hierarchy, through this political system. I'm not destroying my own sense of sovereignty by doing that. In fact, I'm embracing my sovereignty by identifying that that's the process I'm going to use to make that change.
I agree with that point, and I really do. From a personal perspective, because you've made it personal, I agree with that. But for all Sikhs to have that ideology to work within the system is flawed. Because at the end of the day, the system has a leader, which is the monarch, and that needs to be destabilized to enable you to have a position of power. So without that, it doesn't work.
Ah, fuck.
Finish him.
Cut it short, in the wise words of my illustrious friend Jay-Z, I've got 99 problems, but Bhangra ain't one.
I don't know what to say back to that. All right, what do we do with that?